There is a moment that happens almost every single time someone from Europe takes their first bite of real Texas barbecue. And it is the same moment over and over again. A pause, a widening of the eyes, and then a kind of stunned silence that says more than words ever could. That exact reaction is what we are diving into today, because a recent video capturing a group of European visitors trying authentic Texas barbecue for the first time has completely taken over the internet, racking up reactions from food lovers everywhere who cannot believe the sheer disbelief on these people's faces. In this video, we are going to walk through exactly what happened, why the reaction was so intense, and what it reveals about the massive gap between what Europe considers barbecue and what Texas has been perfecting for generations. So settle in, because this one gets surprisingly deep. To understand why this moment hit so hard, you first have to understand the mindset these visitors walked in with. Most of them came from countries where barbecue means something completely different. A quick sausage on a small grill at a summer party, or maybe some grilled chicken with a bit of char. Nothing overly serious, nothing treated like a sacred tradition. Several of them admitted before even taking a bite that they expected the whole thing to be somewhat overhyped. A classic case of American exaggeration turning something ordinary into something that sounds legendary. That skepticism is important because it set up the perfect contrast for what was about to happen. Nobody walked into that restaurant expecting to have their entire understanding of barbecue quietly dismantled within the span of a single meal, and yet that is precisely what took place. Before we keep going, if you are enjoying this breakdown, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed, because we cover moments like this one all the time, and you do not want to miss the next video the moment it drops. It takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps the channel grow. Alright, back to the barbecue. The video begins with the group sitting down at a small, unassuming barbecue joint just outside of Austin. The kind of place with no frills, paper-lined trays, and a menu that barely needs explaining because the smell in the air already tells you everything you need to know. The first plate that arrives is brisket, sliced thick with that unmistakable dark bark on the outside and a smoke ring visible just beneath the surface. One visitor picks up a piece with her fingers, hesitates for a second, and then takes the bite. What follows is almost comedic in how dramatic it is. Her eyes widen. She puts a hand up as if to signal everyone else to wait, and she cannot speak for several seconds. When she finally does, all she can manage is that she has never tasted meat like that in her entire life. That single reaction becomes the emotional anchor for the rest of the video, because everyone at the table who sees her response immediately understands they are about to experience something completely unexpected. Next comes the ribs, and this is where the table goes almost completely quiet, which anyone who has spent time around a group of friends eating together knows is the loudest possible compliment a meal can receive. One of the men in the group, who had spent the earlier part of the video joking that barbecue could not possibly be that different from what he grew up eating, goes completely still after his first bite. He sets the rib down, looks at it for a moment, almost studying it, and then admits quietly that he genuinely does not understand how the meat is falling off the bone with so little effort while still holding on to so much flavor. Another person at the table brings up the smoke, specifically how the smokiness does not overpower the meat but instead wraps around it, something she says she has never experienced with barbecue back home. It becomes clear at this point that the group is not just enjoying the food, they are actively recalibrating what they thought they knew about barbecue as a category of cooking altogether. One of the most talked about moments online came when the group reached the fattier sections of the brisket, the parts that many newcomers instinctively want to trim away because they look intimidating on first glance. One of the visitors initially pushes the fatty piece to the side of his plate, clearly unsure about it, until someone else at the table insists he try it, telling him that the fat is actually the best part once it has rendered properly. Reluctantly, he takes a bite, and the reaction is almost instant. His entire posture changes. He sits up straighter, and he admits that the texture completely melted in his mouth in a way he did not think was possible for something that started out looking so tough and dense. This particular reaction resonated deeply with viewers online, many of whom commented that this is exactly the moment every barbecue lover goes through the first time they learned to appreciate properly rendered fat instead of avoiding it. Part of the reason this video spread so quickly comes down to how genuine the reactions felt. In an online world full of staged content and exaggerated expressions designed purely for engagement, these responses read as completely authentic, unscripted surprise from people who clearly did not anticipate feeling this strongly about a meal. Food content creators and barbecue enthusiasts across the internet began sharing clips from the video, adding their own commentary about how satisfying it is to watch someone experience real, slow-smoked Texas barbecue for the very first time. Several professional pitmasters even weighed in, expressing appreciation for how respectfully the group approached the meal once they realized what they were actually eating, treating each bite with a level of attention that showed they understood they were witnessing something special rather than simply consuming a meal. Beyond the entertainment value, this video sparked a much larger conversation about how differently barbecue is treated across different parts of the world. In Texas, barbecue is not simply a cooking method. It represents hours of preparation, wood selection, temperature control, and patience that often spans an entire day before the meat ever reaches a plate. Many commenters pointed out that in much of Europe, the word barbecue often just refers to direct grilling over open flame for a short period of time, a completely different process from the low and slow smoking techniques that define Texas-style cooking. This distinction matters because it explains exactly why the group's reactions were so intense. They were not comparing similar things. They were experiencing an entirely different culinary tradition for the first time. One built on decades of regional pride and technique, passed down through generations of pitmasters who have spent their lives perfecting the craft. As the video winds down, the group sits back, clearly full, and clearly still processing what they just experienced. One of them jokes that he is not sure he will be able to eat regular grilled meat the same way again, a sentiment that plenty of viewers in the comments admitted mirrored their own first experience with real Texas barbecue. Another visitor mentions that she now understands why people specifically travel to Texas just to eat at certain barbecue restaurants, something that sounded absurd to her before this meal but now makes complete sense. That shift, from skepticism to genuine reverence within the span of a single meal, is exactly what made this video resonate so strongly with audiences who have either had that same experience themselves or have always wondered what all the fuss was really about. At the end of the day, this video became more than just another food reaction clip. It became a genuine case study in how powerful food can be at crossing cultural expectations and completely reshaping someone's understanding of a dish they thought they already knew. Texas barbecue continues to earn its reputation one skeptical first-timer at a time. And this group's reaction is simply the latest proof that no amount of storytelling can fully prepare someone for that first bite of properly smoked brisket. If you enjoyed watching skepticism turn into pure amazement, make sure you are subscribed so you catch the next reaction video the moment it comes out. Because if there is one thing the internet has proven, it is that people never get tired of watching someone's entire worldview shift over a single, perfectly smoked plate of meat.